So there is that Kyle?
No.
Yeah, it's Kyle.
Oh, hey Kyle.
Greg.
Huh?
My brother.
Oh.
What are we doing?
No, this is not.
This is my brother, by the
This is
way.
Kyle.
I don't
This
know
is
if
not Kyle.
Hi, Mom. I'm on TV.
Oh shit. No, you know what? Last night I was telling my mom that I was coming here to film with you. And then I explained to her, because you mentioned to me on the phone, like, you can't breastfeed. And then she was like, wait, really? Like, how does that even work? So even my mom doesn't know that, there
some
are
women
some women
don't
can't breastfeed.
Yeah. First of all, what I didn't know about breastfeeding is that it's hard. Like, it's not easy. It doesn't come naturally. And I think that was my mistake going into it, is thinking that, like, I'm a woman and I will immediately be able to breastfeed. You know, it'll come naturally to me. As soon as I have my baby, they're gonna latch on perfectly, and it's gonna be a magical experience, and I'm gonna love it. And milk is just gonna pour out of me,
Right.
and I'm gonna have to buy a second freezer, and I'm gonna be able to, like, produce like a cow.
Yeah.
I was prepared for that. I was so excited. I thought that was the experience for all women as well. But turns out, no, actually, you have to be in a good mental state to be able to produce a lot of milk.
Yeah.
You have to be able to be disciplined with your pumping and everything. Your baby has to learn how to latch, and you have to be patient enough for the baby to latch.
Right.
Like, it's a skill for them as the baby to do that, and it's also a skill for the mother to learn as well.
One of the reasons why I even wanted to make this video in the first place is because the topic of breastfeeding came up in one of my conversations with, like, a bunch of, like, my, like, women friends, and then I realized, like, oh, shit, I don't know anything about breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this is one of those topics that it's not that mothers don't talk about it, but I think y'all only talk about it amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
So it's a very gate-kept sort of, like,
It's true, and, like, nobody
conversation.
really thinks about it until you get pregnant.
Yeah.
Honestly, even when I was pregnant, I didn't even really think about breastfeeding, because I honestly just thought it was going to come naturally.
Right.
And going to be easy for me.
Did you, like, take classes before, like
They give you classes, but they only really tell you the positions, you know?
of, like, how to breastfeed?
Yeah, so, like, they tell you about the football hold. They tell you about the cradle hold. You know, those types of positions. They don't tell you exactly, like, the mental health side of it. They
Yeah.
don't tell you, like, what you need to prepare for it. They don't give you any preparation about how to pump or, like, what's the schedule like. You sort of have to figure that out on your own, or, like, go on Pinterest or Google ChatGPT how to do it.
Did they not even brief you guys, like, oh, and by the way, some of you guys are not going to be able to produce milk?
Yeah, no. Wait. Okay, so literally at the hospital after giving birth, the doctor came into the room, and that's one of the first things that they talk to you about is breastfeeding, right? But more so in the sense that, like, we recommend to breastfeed your child until 6 months. After that, then you can maybe, if you're not producing enough, then maybe you can ask for a donor, like breast milk donor. And I was like, wow, okay, great. Like, do you have, like, is there a breast milk donor bank or whatever that you can, like, we can, I don't know, get
milk from?
Yeah. And they were like, no. And I was like, wait, what? So why are you telling me to get a donor when you don't even have the resources to, like, give me,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Who? And then they say that the last resort or last option that they recommend is formula. And I was like, my baby is literally under light therapy right now, and he's getting fed
Because the baby's a preemie.
Oh, yeah. My baby is a premature baby by 1 month. But thankfully, he didn't have to go through the NICU because he was born 2.6 kilos. But he did have jaundice. So, like, something about the bilirubin or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they recommended him to go under light therapy. But 24 hours under the light therapy. Which means that, like, yeah, you have to feed him
Yeah.
formula.
Yeah.
So emang dari, like, from the beginning udah dikasih formula sih.
Okay.
Yeah, because also my milk hadn't come at the time as well.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So it's like with you personally, like, was there ever a point where you were able to breastfeed and then suddenly, like, you ran out of supply, or was it like you weren't able to do it from the get go?
No. So it took maybe 3 days for my milk to come, which they don't tell you that either.
That it takes time?
Yeah, that it takes time. I really just thought, I don't know, maybe I could have
immediately.
Yeah.
Because that's what I thought.
Yeah. Like when I thought the golden hour was supposed to, like after birth, they put the baby on your stomach and they're supposed to crawl to your nipple. I thought it was like there was gonna be milk already. Okay. But literally he was like about trying to suck at my nipple and there was nothing coming out.
Okay.
And he was crying and crying and crying. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I really just thought that like, wow, milk is gonna come out of me straight away. It didn't come until maybe 3 days, and it didn't even come as like milk. It came as like colostrum. Colostrum is like liquid gold. I have pictures I can show you. But I had to literally take a syringe.
Yeah.
I had to take a syringe and I had to like
suck it out of your nipple. Did that hurt?
I had to like massage it out of me, and that hurt, but like the sucking was fine, but like the actual massaging was a bit uncomfortable. But yeah, so I would only get 3 cc of
that's very little.
Very little.
Yeah. That's
of
barely
milk,
anything.
and that was it.
That's it
for him. So obviously, in my head, I was like, this kid needs to eat lah.
Yeah, of course.
So it's okay, give him formula. And the thing is, the doctors gave you options, like the 2 different brands of formula at the hospital too. So I was like, oh, so it shouldn't be that bad, dong. If
bad in terms of like, because were you concerned with like, I'm aware that there is this narrative that like, there's a debate between breast is best versus fed is best.
Yeah.
So was that the narrative that was kind of going through your mind of like, no, it should be okay. Formula can't be that bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, I guess, I have a little sister, right? Like she's, I was 11 when she was born, and my mother was already in her late 30s, so she wasn't able to produce any milk.
Yeah.
By the time it was my little sister.
Okay.
And so she was formula fed from day dot, and she turned out fine. Okay, she's in UI, she's living her life, like she's fine.
Nah, here's the thing. I was both breast and bottle fed.
Yeah.
Like, and you were entirely bottle fed. Guys, we turned out fine. I think we turned out fine. In my opinion, I think we turned out fine. Tito, were you bottle fed or breastfed the entire way, or combo? Combo. Yeah. See,
a lot of women do that, especially our mother's age, because that's when like formula
started to become a thing.
Yeah. So I think, but to me, it was like, it's not that bad. Tapi how come the doctors were like, the last resort is formula? You should get, before you even think about formula, you should get a breast milk donor. I was like,
right.
What? Where do I get a breast milk donor? You don't even have the resources for that. So why are you suggesting that to me? You know what I mean?
Did they ask you for your they had your religious information beforehand, obviously, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it's on the KTP and everything, right?
No, because you know what? Like I was talking to Samira Shihab about this. So apparently there is a religious restriction to that. So they probably recommended it to you because they saw that you were Christian, and probably Christianity doesn't have this restriction. But in Islam, you're not allowed to drink somebody else's breast. Like, Samira told me this, okay? And I'm going to fact check this just to be extremely sure. Yeah. But I think there's like a rule in Islam where it's like, but it's basically like if I can produce milk right now, if I have a baby, I give somebody else's baby my breast milk, then it's basically like kind of in a way adopting that kid into the family. And then
I think
then it's something about like, it's sort of tangentially incestuous. Let's say if let's say I have a son, I breastfeed somebody else's daughter, they can't get married. That type of stuff. And so that is like the first thing that I thought about when you said that. And then the other thing too is like, you said donor, right? Because I'm pretty sure in the United States, like there's this entire market where women because some women oversupply milk. Yeah. Some women make too much milk. Yeah. And so they just sell it. Yeah. But then apparently that's also like a very heated taboo thing to do here. I guess like you're not supposed to sell your breast milk.
I have no idea, but like in Australia they have a literal cafe where they use breast milk as like coffee milk. Isn't that crazy?
Wait,
isn't that crazy?
For us, like for like consumers?
Yeah, for adults. But I will say, okay, maybe this is a bit TMI or whatever, but like,
girl, we love TMI on the show.
When Kyle, my husband, tried the breast milk, like, he loved it. Like he enjoyed it.
What does it? Kyle, what does it taste like?
Yeah, he said it's sweet. I never tried my own breast milk because I don't know. I just didn't have the desire or like.
Girl, you've never even tried his like this formula that he's being fed right now.
No, but even Kyle said that like breast milk tastes better than the formula.
But
I don't know. There's like pros and cons, right, to breast milk and formula because in my opinion, kaya formula, it has all the vitamins and like they put vitamins in there.
Formula?
Yeah, in formula. Yeah. Whereas breast milk, yes, it's really, really good for their immune system and everything.
Yeah.
But what if the mother isn't taking care of their nutrition and they're not eating good food or like, you know, nutritious meals?
Right.
Then you're not going to give good nutrients to your baby too.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Right.
About breast milk and formula. Kaya, honestly, if you can breastfeed your baby, that's amazing. And I think that
good on you.
If I were able to continue, I would. But if you can't, Yoda, honestly, for me, fed is best. And
right.
I will say, though, this is an interesting thing that I just realized like 2 days ago. The moment I stopped breastfeeding, I started to enjoy motherhood more.
Oh, see.
Yeah.
Why do you think? No, because that's also like the conversation about how breastfeeding is actually very emotionally and mentally. Yeah. It takes a toll on women.
Yeah.
I don't understand like how the mechanics of that works.
Yeah. No, honestly, when I was pumping, I just felt like I was chained to my pump. And like I didn't have any autonomy of my body because I mean, like, my husband, like, he can leave and he's fine. His body is fine. You know what I mean?
He's out there playing golf.
He can, exactly. He's playing golf. He's playing paddle. Oh, my gosh. Off to work, comes back home. Nothing sort of changes with him, right? But, like, for the mother, if you don't pump, your breast will hurt so much. And you can get engorged. You can get mastitis. You can get all sorts of things just because you don't pump. And when you do pump, it's like 20 to 30 minutes of pumping every 2 to 3 hours. So it's like, I don't know. I just felt my mindset, honestly, maybe is wrong juga ya, because
no, I don't think anything is wrong. Like, it's your own like personal experience, you know, if anybody wants to.
Yeah, but now that I'm looking back at it, because now that I like don't produce anymore,
yeah,
I wish I had thought about pumping in a better light.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's my mistake for the first one. At least I learned. For my next baby, I know that I will look at it more instead of a chore,
like cherish
something,
the moment.
Yeah, I will be more grateful about it, and I will be more positive about it, because kemarin I really was just like, honestly, baby blues, and like, plus I have to pump. I really felt like I was in a prison,
right?
You know,
right.
Oh God, yeah, it was not fun. Now, but like, now that I can't. I am a little bit sad about it, to be honest. But also, it gives me so much freedom. I literally can go to Pilates and, like, come back and my boobs are fine. Like, I don't feel...
Right.
It doesn't hurt. So...
Because breastfeeding, also, correct me if I'm wrong, like, they have to... They kind of bite your nipple sometimes.
If they don't do it right. I mean, in the beginning, like, he couldn't latch properly, right? So, like, he would... with his gums, like, bite it instead of suck.
Right, so...
Because they're not supposed to bite. They're supposed to suck.
So is latching, like... There's something about the shape of the mouth. Visa, she was the one who talked to me about this. There's, like, something about the shape of the mouth needs to be compatible with the nipple or something.
Yeah, honestly, if you have, like, inverted nipples, like, there's a way to do it. So my nipple... Okay, we're going there. We're going there.
Is my nipple inverted?
So my nipple is sort of not inverted, tapi like it's quite soft. Like, it doesn't like go out. you know, and like I've seen my friends who just gave birth, their nipples literally look like thumbs, and so it's easier for the baby to latch. Right, but like for me, it didn't go out like that.
Okay.
So like for him, he couldn't tell where is the nipple. Like, it didn't go hard.
Wait, by the time you have mommy nipples, like, does it still do the thing where, like, you know, like with girls, like when it's cold, like our nipples like pop out?
Yeah. I'm sure you can see it now.
Does that happen with men? With girls, like, my nipple will literally like poke out if it's cold enough.
Yeah.
So with men too, okay, I think nipples just do that.
Yeah. So that still happens, but I thought So my nipples are always hard when it's like the wrong time. When it's not supposed to be hard, it's hard. But so I thought it would be easy for him to latch on.
Yeah.
But it didn't get hard when he was trying, you know. So like
okay.
the Indah, like it was just flat. It was just you know.
Okay.
And I tried to make myself cold. I tried to stimulate it.
Yeah.
to make
Nothing
it go
worked.
hard, but it didn't work.
Nothing worked.
So I don't know. I really think my brain or like my
Is it anxiety?
mental state at that moment, Emma, was not right.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Like I really was just in my baby blues phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because I was gonna think like, I mean, maybe it's an anxiety thing because sometimes it's like
Yeah, you have to be totally relaxed.
Yeah.
Your heartbeat has to be like relaxed, otherwise he's gonna catch up on your heartbeat, and then like he's gonna be frustrated too, and you're
Right.
frustrated,
Right.
and then
you mentioning all of this, like it also makes you think about how much of a privilege it is to even be able to breastfeed as a mother, right? Because if you're saying that it's
amazing.
contingent upon you being in like the right mental state, like you're not stressed out, you're not scared, you're not anxious, like how many mothers, like how many women like afford that sort of serenity, that mental peace, you know what I mean?
But I don't know if it's I don't know if it's that, because literally my literally can breastfeed, and like she's totally fine. So I don't know if it's like a genetic thing or like you know, I don't know what it is. Maybe you can, I don't know, ask a more qualified person. But like literally my literally was, she was showing me how to do it,
breastfeed,
you know, like
yeah.
harusnya kayak gini, you know. So I was like, if she can do it, how come I can't? Like it was like that.
Okay.
I don't know.
Right, maybe, well, then maybe it is the anxiety thing.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah, or like emang genetic, because my mom juga
Or perhaps, yeah.
only produced milk for a couple months before she stopped, and then formula fed.
Okay.
You know, so
yeah. Interesting. It kind of like
maybe
runs
it
in the
is.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. But from what I know, a lot of moms stop around like 3 to 6 months.
The
Between 3 to
pain,
6
the
months.
probably the mental anguish associated. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, and also if your kid is drinking like 180 mils per feed, and then I'm pumping for an hour and I only get 60 mils,
Yeah.
it's not fun juga. Like for me, it's like, what's the, you know, like why am I continuing to put myself through this if I'm only getting so little compared to what he, like I can
Actually
never
needs.
really catch up, you know.
Is there like a minimum amount that a baby needs to? Is it 180 mil?
So, like it depends on your baby, right? Like if it's a fully breastfed baby, the way that you can tell is how many wet diapers, and
Okay.
also like if they're burping and if they seem settled after a feed, then you know.
All right.
So actually with breastfeeding, you can never really know how many mils they're drinking. But with bottle feeding,
You can tell.
kalau formula fed, they tell you kayak 1 month is 60, 2 months is 120,
Okay.
gitu-gitu. You know, like it goes up every 30 milliliters, yeah. So right now, Kian at 4.5 to 5 months, he's drinking 210 milliliters.
No wonder he's a big baby.
He is a big baby.
I put Kian on me just now. She put Kian on me just now. I held a baby for the first time. This thing is huge.
He is.
It's not even
He is.
human. It's a block of butter.
He's dense. He's
small.
a dense
He's
little
so
boy.
dense.
He's not even a little boy. He's a
big
big boy.
Big boy. No, and like when he was lying on top of me, you guys, like I'll insert the video like
Yeah.
in the episode, but
Yeah.
he basically takes up my entire torso.
Yep.
This was like what, 4 months? 4 months, yeah.
Well, his dad is 193 centimeters.
Yeah,
so
yeah. That's probably
maybe
why.
that's also it. But also my family. I mean, look at my brother right now. He's a big
yeah.
boy. So my family juga the genetic juga we're wide.
The big genes. No, and really quickly before I forget, I just want to say, like on the topic of, you know, like we'll tackle the whole like debate of like, you know, breast is best, fed is best thing like in a bit. But in your case, you bottle feed because you can't breastfeed. But actually, like, I don't know how taboo this is. Imagine my mom gets shit on for me like admitting this, but like my mom could breastfeed the entire way. She just didn't want to the entire time.
Which
Like,
honestly, you just have to do you. Like
Yeah.
as a mom, kaya you can't judge a mom for her choices. Like that is what is so, I think, frustrating about becoming a mother is like so many people want to say so many things.
Yeah.
Like mom guilt, mom shaming, like that's real.
And that probably is what contributes to the mental anguish that a lot of moms feel. And then it's kind of like a satanic loop, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's so much pressure on women to be able to do motherhood correctly, breastfeed correctly, and so you're tripping up over like, oh my gosh, what if I can't breastfeed? And then you end up actually not being able to breastfeed.
Yeah. Maybe,
right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because from what I know, like a lot of working women, of course, they would prefer to maybe formula feed. Because it is a lot easier. Like, what's great about formula feeding is that other people can feed your baby too. Like the dad can, the nanny can. It's not just you who has to feed the baby. And like as a working mom, like as your mom, I would imagine like that would be so nice too, you know. And like she still has to go out and get her money and everything like that, so I don't blame her if
what I did not ask my mom was if she faced a lot of judgment from friends or community or family even for like the decision that she made, because it was a decision like, no, I'm just not gonna breastfeed, like fuck this, even if she could. So that from my mom, I don't know. But what about like in your experience, like is that public knowledge within like your, I guess like for like the relevant people, like do you tell them like, hey, I can't breastfeed?
When they asked me, like literally just now, like downstairs, we had like a bank meeting or whatever, and like the bank lady was like, oh, are you still breastfeeding? And then I was just like, no, I'm not breastfeeding anymore. And thankfully, I think now kaya the shaming of, you know, like, oh, you're not breastfeeding anymore, like would like I don't think
it's not
people,
a thing anymore. Maybe
I hope people don't care anymore, because like literally my sister turned out fine. Okay,
and it's also like, what are you gonna get from shaving a mom?
Exactly. I mean, if you can breastfeed your baby until 2 years old, that's amazing for you.
Is that a thing?
Great.
Like you breastfeed until 2 years old?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, because I thought you stopped like breastfeeding.
No. Like some people, 2 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you can do that, amazing. Good for you. That's amazing. You don't have to pay lots of money for a formula, you know? Great. But unfortunately, I cannot. And so I still have to feed my baby somehow. So
where are you at now in terms of like reconciling with the fact that you can't breastfeed versus like, I guess in the beginning when you like first found out, like how do you feel about it?
Okay, so like, in the beginning, I was really sad over it, right?
Why?
Because I thought like that's what a mom should be able to do.
Where do you think you got that narrative?
I think honestly the movies. Like I just
really
watched,
what movies were you watching?
Modern Family.
I didn't watch I didn't watch
Modern Family throughout my entire pregnancy.
Vergara, right?
And Sofia Vergara's character, she was pregnant. She looks the way she looks with her beautiful big breasts, and then her baby is like here, and she's like answering the door, and then the mailman is like fully looking at the breast, and then
eyes up here,
like that, and her husband in the show is like, don't you have any shame, like cover up, and then Sofia Vergara's character was like, no, like if I could, I would just like do it publicly, like I have no shame being a mother feeding my child kind of thing. So I honestly thought it was gonna be glamorous like that. Turns out wrong. Like even body wise, even body wise, kaya I didn't bounce back, or you know, like it's not easy. It's not as easy as it looks, you know.
Do you feel like there's a lot of pressure for new moms to bounce back?
I think I put pressure on myself.
Okay,
I don't know, but
it's not externally, and like
I think I put it on myself. Although,
I mean, media probably has a lot to do with that. I mean, exactly like what you said about Sofia Vergara's character. Like how often do we watch movies that depict like a new mom and she's like snatched, like her waist is snatched as shit. It's like, girl, that's not realistic. Come on.
I mean, it could be realistic for some people. Like, shout out Jennifer.
I knew you were gonna say Jennifer Bachdim.
Yeah, because honestly, if she, like she kept her, like she was very fit throughout her pregnancy. And then like once she got cleared to exercise again, like she could langsung exercise again. So some people, it is realistic for them. Tapi kayak let's face it, you know, how can I expect to bounce back when I didn't exercise at all throughout my entire pregnancy?
Yeah.
Which that's also another mistake that I won't make for my next one.
Oh, you should. So it was.
I think I will. Like, I will continue to exercise throughout my pregnancy for the second one.
Yeah,
because it is so hard. Like, when you, after giving birth, after not exercising for like 9 months or whatever, and then going back to exercise again, it's tough. It's hard. Yeah.
No, I get it. I've always sort of wondered, because I'll see photos or videos of women breastfeeding on social media, and I would kind of wonder to myself, like, is this supposed to be like within the mommy community a sort of like flex?
100%. I think so. I mean, like, honestly, if I could breastfeed, I would.
You should be posting it every single day.
100%. I would.
Is it like
for sure?
Because
everyone knows. I think because everyone knows how tough it is, how actually tough it is to breastfeed.
Okay.
That the fact that you're doing it for so long, it deserves respect, to be honest.
Okay. Well, but I mean, I'm not saying that I don't respect it. I just don't understand, like, respect on the basis of what? If it's something that is like, number one, there's like a genetic component to what it seems. Number two, it's also contingent upon, like, you know, like your mental and emotional well-being. Like, there's probably even a biological, the genetic factor to it, where it's like, what if you're just not built for breastfeeding? So it's like, then what is the respect based off of if it's just pure, like, random selection luck? You know what I mean? So I guess that's what I don't understand.
Maybe it's similar to, like, how, like, if you have a cute baby, like, you want to show off your baby.
Oh, okay. It's kind of like that. Okay. Yeah, it's just a flex.
No, it's just like, I'm still doing this. And honestly, every mom, I think, how do I feel? If I see someone, which, Jennifer Bachdim, like, she's also one person who always, like, shows that, like, I'm still breastfeeding, like, I'm working out, and I'm still breastfeeding, and I'm doing the laundry, and I don't have nanny or maid. You should interview her.
Oh my gosh. No, and, like, you know, I'm not trying to, like turn this into slander towards Jennifer Bachdim. Obviously not, right? No. But it's
no, we love her. Oh, God.
I question whether or not that's something that just not, like, very conveniently came to her. Like, if that's something that she was able to do, or was it something that she really had to push herself to achieve because of, again, the pressure of expectation. I know damn well there's gonna be somebody out there who's like, she's perpetuating this, like, unrealistic expectation for moms. But I feel like the solution isn't to police Jennifer Bachdim on, like, what to post, but it's just to kind of, like, as like, you guys as moms, like, have to do the work of, like, I mean, every woman is
can't compare.
Different.
Like, okay, so this is what I realized, and this is one of my, I will say, like, this is one of the proudest moments for myself, because I have gone through, like, like I mentioned to you earlier, like, you know, early 20s, like late teens, early 20s, like, super depressed, always compared myself to other people, super insecure, low self-worth, low confidence, all that. And I really
the whole
worked
nine.
hard to, like, get myself to a place now where I feel confident in my own skin. And, like, sure, you know, like, of course there will be days where I will compare myself to other people, especially in the first month after birth, because your mental health is so fragile, and like, your hormones are everywhere. Looking at content by influencers like Jennifer Bachdim, and, like, one of my, you know, acquaintances, Michaela Patritz, she's also a mom, fabulous mom, great body, 2 kids. I'm like, wow. Like, of course, I was already vulnerable with my mindset, with the baby blues and everything. Looking at that content wasn't fun for me, because I was like, oh, I need to be like that. How come I'm not like that? Like, my body is not like that. I don't look like that. I don't feel like I don't feel happy like what they, you know? But then I have to, like, catch myself and be like, it all takes time. You know? And I have to be realistic with myself too, you know? And sure, I can look at their content and be inspired by their content and motivated by their content to, you know, get fitter and, like, eat well and all that stuff. But I can't let it consume me and be like, they're much better moms than I am. Because I don't know. How would I know what kind of mom they are? You know what I mean? Like, why should I be comparing myself?
Based on your experience, do you think, like, when you're still in those, like, what would you say is, like, the first, like, fragile, like the most fragile time period for like a new mom? Is it like probably like the day you give birth and what 1 month, 2 months into it?
Okay.
Like, do you think like during those fragile months, like looking back, would you like avoid social media to just avoid yourself from being in that type of mental space?
Okay, I'll answer twice. And sorry, yeah, lots of people.
This is a private
real life,
resident. This is real life. Like at some point, y'all probably gonna hear baby Kian in the back start crying. Yeah, and then she's gonna have to leave to like, I don't know, change diapers or some shit. Yeah.
But okay, so honestly, when your baby is born, that is the period of time where your hormones are like your dopamine is like, wow, beautiful, amazing. I just did this. Like, it's amazing. Like the rush, the exhilaration, the adrenaline, all that. Like you feel all of that, right? So you don't feel any sadness whatsoever, really. Like happy tears, yes, but like no. At the hospital, everything's great because the nurses come in to take your baby.
Yeah.
And like you get to sleep for a little bit.
Right.
But then it's when you go home. When you take the baby home and like you're finally a family like at home and you don't have that help, then you realize, holy shit. Am I allowed to swear there?
No, we can swear. No, we can swear.
Okay. Yeah, holy shit. Okay. They really just trusted us to like go home even though we don't know anything about raising a baby. Like, what?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And of course, I have my village around me. Like, I have my my parents, also my grandma, you know, Kyle's parents, like my brothers. I have a nanny. I have a maid. Like, what more can I, you know, like it really is. I had my village. Yeah. And yet I was still feeling low and down, you know, because of the crazy hormones that happens after. And then also I think what happens when you go home is you're hit with sleep deprivation, right? Like your baby wakes up every hour or two. And then also Kian was a premature baby, so honestly me and Kyle, we didn't have any postpartum plan. Like we didn't discuss about, how's the schedule going to be, like who's going to take the night shift. We didn't discuss any of that.
Kian beat you guys to it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's also mistake number 3 that I would
in the future
improve upon for the next kid. Is like, we will definitely learn who's going to take the night shift and like what's going to happen, because honestly that was the tough part. Was like I felt like Kyle and I's connection was not great. The baby was crying all the time. I had trouble breastfeeding. Like it was so much all at once that I was really sad. Yeah. I was really sad. Like Kyle,
that's overwhelming as shit.
Yeah, Kyle found me crying in the bathroom multiple times. And I literally chat GPT'd. Like I can show you the chat GPT. Is it normal to want to run away from your family after giving birth? Like that is actually what I sent. Yeah. And I screenshotted it and I sent it to my other mom friend. Yeah. And she was like, Kizzy, that is totally normal. But I think you need a break. Like, because you should just like have bonding time with yourself, have bonding time with Kyle, and have bonding time with your baby too. Because while when it's nice to have a nanny, if the nanny takes care of the baby all the time, you can't bond with the baby. Yeah. And that was also another thing that was different and difficult for me, was like I thought that as soon as your baby is born, you're gonna have like a magical connection with the baby juga. It's not. But I didn't have that. Like I didn't have a connection with him, or I didn't feel connected to him until maybe like the 2nd or 3rd month. Okay. You know, because I was really that down. Okay. Which that they also don't show you, because in the movies, right? On Friends, Rachel gets her baby and it's like,
like love at first sight type of.
I didn't feel that.
What did you feel when
nothing? I didn't feel anything. I felt indifferent. I felt nothing.
Just like, oh shit,
like whoa, like it's a baby.
It's done.
That's it. Like I didn't feel anything. Like there's a video my mom about recorded the whole birth process. Like they put the baby on me, and I was like, oh. I'm thirsty. Where's my water bottle? Get the langsung. You know, like, I don't know. I really don't know.
Like, it's not the sentimental sort of
that
like,
I thought I would feel.
Or like even movies and TV shows portray it, to be honest. Because that's also what I thought.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be crying in tears. Like, you're just so happy.
Yeah.
Or, like, that.
I didn't cry until he actually latched on properly. That's the first time that I actually cried and like realized, oh my god, I have a child now.
Yeah.
Was when he was
real.
able to latch properly. So I don't know. I think going into this pregnancy or like birth process or motherhood situation, I had so many expectations, and then the reality was so different that I think it also made me like just
disappointed.
Yeah, sad, and just like, whoa, it's so different to what I thought it would be. But again, I will say I'm enjoying it so much more now. Like, I can, maybe in the first 2-3 months, I was not confident in my motherhood skills, because that's also another thing that I realized is like, motherhood is not something that comes naturally, at least to me. It's something that I have to work on. It's like a skill that I have to keep improving on gitu. So like something as like changing diapers, that's a skill. Like, you in the beginning, oh my god, the amount of times that he peed on me is insane. Okay, if you have a baby boy, it's wild. Like the first night, I remember he peed on me, so I was quickly like, you know, taking care of that, of myself. And then out of nowhere he starts crying, and I was like, why is he crying? And I saw his face was all wet because he peed on himself. And I was like, how is that even possible? So honestly, at that moment, that was my low moment. I was like, I let my kid pee on himself. I'm a terrible mother.
I shouldn't be laughing.
No. Like, I can laugh about it now, but I was crying so hard around that time. But then I realized, you know, like, thank God for this book. I read this postpartum book, about bad mothers, because I think that's like, a lot of new moms think that way about themselves, but actually, this is how I was able to like, oh yeah, okay.
What's the book called?
It's called A Mom is Born. It's amazing.
By?
I don't know the author. We'll put
up on screen. Yeah, that could be a good resource for like, I'm sure like a lot of moms are watching this right now.
It's amazing book. It just helped to change my mindset about a lot of things. Like, for example, I always thought, oh my god, I'm such a bad mother for letting my kid pee on himself. I'm such a bad mother for you know, not knowing or mistaking his cues of feeding, but actually he wanted to sleep gitu, you know, like. But then in the book it says something along the lines of like, an actually bad mother wouldn't care or wouldn't even have the thought that they are a bad mother or not. They wouldn't even think, am I a bad mother? No. Bad mothers, real bad mothers, don't care. So then I was like, okay, true. At least I'm trying to like improve gitu, and I think a lot of women want to improve and everything, you know. Honestly, I used to have a lot of mommy issues, like me and my mother. I think honestly every mother-daughter situation. But after becoming a mom, I just realized like she was just trying her best, honestly.
No, there's like this one video that got me fucked up. I can't remember verbatim what the script was, but it's just essentially like your mom was just a baby that had a baby, essentially.
Yep.
Like how many of us, like, because of the pressure that society puts on you to quickly have children, especially back in those times, like you're still very much like, not like you're not an actual like literal baby, but there's just so much of like your inner child that is like still not even fully healed yet. So it's like you're having to process all of that in the backdrop of a society that is quickly pushing you to become an adult, to take care of, to be responsible for somebody else's life. And so it's like, and I kind of
and that's why I wonder, like, seriously, why is there no license to become a parent? Like, there's no license to drive, but there's no license to become a parent. And this is like, you're literally responsible for another human, like raising another human. You're raising the next generation of humans, and obviously most people want to do a good job. There should be some type of course or something lah.
There needs to be some type of prerequisite. There needs to be some sort of like requisite that you have to meet in order for you to be able to get married.
There needs to be a certificate to put lashes on like extensions.
Yeah, fucking.
And there's no
estheticians. Yeah,
and there's no certificate for being a parent.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Or like a license or a course or something to become a parent.
No, I'm dead ass. Like I know that. Of course, it's impossible for you to put like a legal prerequisite on like before you can have a child because people are gonna have sex and get pregnant, no matter what. But at the very least, I just genuinely feel very strongly about this. I feel like we should start reconsidering not just us as Indonesia, but as like a global collective world. I feel like we need to start considering, hey, maybe we need to put some more like strict requirements before you can get your marriage certificate, before you can get married. I feel like there needs to. Like, I mean,
for Christians, like we go through like Christian counseling.
You're
like
Protestant or Catholic?
Protestant.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think Catholic also they have like a marriage course before you get married, gitu. And literally,
sure, yeah.
I know because my uncle is a pastor and he did our course.
Okay.
And he was like, we as pastors we have to have the responsibility to tell the couple kaya if they're ready or not. And so he's actually said to some people that like
you're not ready.
Yeah.
And based off of what metrics? Is it something like have you done your
usually it's communication or like goals and things like how they fight and how they resolve.
Because what if it's like I think one of the things that should ideally like I would make this I don't even know how I would do it. Ideally, this would be something that you need to fulfill before you have children. But again, I don't know how one would legislate that. But like a psychological assessment. Yeah. Or have you ever thought about how many psychopaths out there have kids? They're raising kids.
Yep.
Like what the fuck?
Yeah. And that's also something that I also realized about parenthood is like you have to face all of your childhood demons and like all of your unresolved trauma and everything, because if you care about how you raise your child, you don't want to make the same mistakes to your child, right? Like you would hope that like with every generation like it gets better and better, so you learn from your parents. You don't want to make their mistakes. You have to dig deep and like you have to face your inner demons too, so that you can set a good example for your kids.
But in reality it's
that's hard.
Very few.
It's
very few people. I think most
and that's why honestly I do really recommend that book, because it talks about that. In the book it talks about like facing your demons and everything like that. So 100% I think every new mom has to read that book. It has everything like anxious mom, angry mom, everything. So there's Kian.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's okay. He should be tired now.
Okay.
Let's see.
No, he's about to pass out soon.
Yeah. See, so this app Huckleberry, it tells me 3:20 is his bedtime and it's 3:30 now. That's why.
Yeah. Wait. What apps are moms use? What apps are you using? Because y'all should know this. Like, I feel like a lot of men don't know this. Women, we use apps to even like tell us like when are we about to have our period.
Yep.
Like that's not something that we can just do like on our
unless
own.
you are
You can
sure
count.
about your calendar and everything. Or
like you know how to do the math. Like my mom knows how to do the math, but that's super jadul, like old school shit.
Yeah, no, I use Huckleberry and it's so good. It is a paid subscription though.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But it tells me what time it is. Like it's time to feed Kian, it's time to check his diaper, it's time to for a nap. And I just go by that.
Literally, like I was like you were using the app, like you were like before we got this set up, like you were feeding Kian and everything, and I'm just like, no, like being a mom, dead ass, it's like it's a full-time job. Like you have to log what time, like it's like 2:33, it's like 180 milliliters of like formula.
Yeah.
And how many times a day do you gotta do that? Like very often, right?
I mean, like he feeds maybe 5 to 6 times a day.
5 to 6 times a day. Yeah. No, dude, that's a full-time job.
Yeah, honestly, I say, I'm on maternity leave. But like it could be for forever.
Are you thinking about it? Like stay-at-home mom?
Honestly, the goal for me is like if I could find a work from home situation, a work from home mom.
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
No, I've talked to a lot of women who said that,
Yeah, I care. I do want to be with my family, with my son, Like I know that this is such a privileged thing because if I don't want to work, I don't have to. And I know that some people like cannot, like they don't have that option.
Of course, yeah.
But that's my goal, is to be a great mom, a good mom.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I had this conversation with my friend earlier. Let me know what you think. But, and I was also talking about this with another mom, and I think you should interview her next.
Okay.
She's great. She has 2 kids. She's a McKinsey consultant, top
sexy.
of her game. And like, she's also a content creator and everything.
Okay.
And I asked her, I feel like society has pushed back on being a trad wife so hard. On being a girl boss so hard.
Yeah.
That now it's such a shameful thing to want to be a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
At least that's how I feel.
I was gonna ask that, yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, it's my brother, and I know that like he's joking. Tapi kaya he's like, you should get a job. Get a job. Why are you always here? Get a job. And I'm like, this is my job right now.
This is my job. Does it bother you your brother says that, or do you know that he's just bantering?
I know that he's annoying, and that's just who he is. But and he's trying to get a reaction out of me gitu. Tapi still sometimes like I also have that internalized like
yeah.
Is it I feel shameful.
The shameful
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm just a stay-at-home
Yeah.
mom.
Like how come nowadays just being a mom is not good enough? Or like you have to be a mom and something else. You have to be a mom and a co-founder, or you know what I mean? Like I don't know, at least that's what or at least my algorithm is like pushing.
No, for sure. That's that has been one of the I don't think it was intended. I think it was an unintended consequence of
the girl
modern
boss era.
Yeah, the girl boss era, modern
feminism.
Is it 4th wave or 3rd wave? I think it's 4th wave. The unintended consequences of 4th wave feminism. You push this trope of like women have to be independent and be strong and do this and that, like to the extent that
in my opinion, that just allows men to take it easy, and maybe that's why there's no like strong leading men anymore, because the girls are doing that for the men. You know what I mean?
Probably.
I don't know.
It makes I can imagine like if I were a man and I knew that my wife or my girl like she got it herself down pat.
You wouldn't be so
girl. You wouldn't give a shit. Yeah. Like I would be not as motivated because I'm like, nah, my girl's got it. You know, and then it just becomes an excuse for you to be lazy.
Yeah. So I don't know. And that also like affects how you want to raise your kids too, right? Like the ideals of this world today, kaya, do you agree with it or not? And then like how do you want to raise your kid and all that stuff? So it's like
right. And of course, like with the Indah show, like this is a very pro-feminism like platform, but I do have to say, especially for all the moms or like all the women that are going to be listening to this, like, don't lose sight of how the whole point of feminism is
so that you can have a choice.
You can have a choice, like whether you want to be the girl boss that like becomes like the next president and like doesn't have any kids.
That's amazing. Go ahead.
Go ahead, but it's also like, hey, let's not trample on the women that you want to be the trad wife. What's her name? Smith.
Nara Smith.
Nara Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like people need to leave this woman alone. She's just baking bread. She's just baking bread.
Yeah.
Like, leave her alone. Yeah. She has as what it seems to me, a good husband.
Yeah.
She happy? What y'all tripping about? Leave this woman alone.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Leave this woman alone.
For me, what I always wanted to do was like raise a good family and honestly be able to work from home.
Breastfeeding in public.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that experience been for you? Like, I have... So first of all, I could be just so out of touch with reality, or maybe I'm just not observant, but only recently did I realize that there are rooms for you to breastfeed in malls. I guess because, maybe the reason why I never noticed this is because I actually barely go to the bathroom when I'm outside. Bladder of steel. But, so there are rooms that I guess it's like, hey, moms, like, do your breastfeeding in here. So it's almost this sort of like
shameful. You're supposed to be ashamed of breastfeeding in public.
I think there's a shameful sort of like connotation to it, or like this sort of like this. Oh, don't do that here.
Don't do that in public.
Don't do that in public. Yeah, that's what she was saying with Modern Family too.
Yeah. And Gloria said like, if I don't feel ashamed of breastfeeding in public. I'm giving life to my son. That's what she said in the Modern Family, and I was like, that is so true. But I think it comes down to whatever the mother is comfortable with. Because even for me, myself and I would not want that, because I would be like, if you catch a glimpse of my breast, you need to pay me. I'm not giving that.
No, for real.
I'm not giving you that look for free.
For real. Okay, this is so R-rated.
I'm sorry.
No. This is so, what I'm about to say is super R-rated. So if y'all have children nearby, like, take them out of the room, like, right now. But, like, that's the same way. I think about, like, all the men that I've slept with in the past. And I'm like, I had sex with them for free.
Yeah.
I should have charged these fuckers.
It is a privilege
to
for you to be able to see any of me.
No, for
so
real.
I'm sorry. I'm not doing this because I'm ashamed. No.
Uh.
It's because you don't deserve to look at my anything. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go and like, yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's like, I'm just like, if I'm being very like analytical here, it's not that I agree or disagree with any of this. I'm just like, there's two ways that I can see this. Like, on the one hand, yeah, definitely, like, if you want to see these titties, like, you got to pay up, boy. That's number one, right? But at the same time, like, inevitably what happens is that when we push for this culture whereby, like, breastfeeding is sort of seen as this kind of, like...
Sexual.
Number one, it's very much sexualized. Like, that's also, like, another conversation that Indonesia's definitely not having, but I feel like we should, because I also just realized that, I don't know if this falls under, what is it, Rule 39 or something like that? There's this actually rule. There's this rule whereby if you can think it, there's a porn category for it, first of all.
What?
It's a rule whereby if you can think it, there's a porn category for it. For example, SpongeBob porn. It exists. I've checked it out.
What?
I was not horny after.
Why?
Because I think it's also, call it like, I don't know if it's like human tendency, but it's like we can literally sexualize anything
True.
and everything,
True.
including breastfeeding. Like there is.
True.
I looked this up on select porn sites. For research purposes.
Okay.
No, don't be looking at me like that. It's for research purposes.
Okay.
Because I was preparing for this. No, I looked it up on certain porn sites. Like, there is breastfeeding porn.
With the baby there.
Ooh.
Or what?
You know what? No, prepare yourself. I've seen some with babies. I'm not even joking with you. I've seen some where, yeah, they get... Well, there's also, like, the really weird one, but more... Like, I'm sorry, less harmful is when the man is... the one getting breastfed. Girl, it's so weird. Girl, it's so weird. Girl, it's...
Oh, okay. Like sucking on the nipple. Gitu.
Like he's the one getting breastfed by the...
Oh my God.
Woman. Girl, it's so weird. I don't recommend any of you look this up, by the way. But there's also ones with like, unfortunately, like, yeah, with babies in it. It's like, it's
insane.
fucked.
That's
it's
insane.
fucked. But it's like, that's also another thing that like we're not talking about. It's like the sexualization of breastfeeding and how it's also something that's like sexually commoditized, right? And when you push for this, you do things like having private rooms for women to shoo in there and breastfeed. Or when we, like you use the...
Nursing cover.
Yeah, the nursing cover. It's subliminally sending the message that breastfeeding...
It's like perpetuating that kind of sexualization of...
Yeah, perpetuating the sexualization, and it's basically sending out the message that, hey, breastfeeding is like this inappropriate thing that the public should not be witnessing.
Yeah, but also, okay, I'm thinking of it, if Kizzy were to walk around in the mall and then I saw a guy literally take off his shirt, would I look at the guy? Obviously, I would. No matter what, like, I will... look at him.
Oh, it draws attention.
Yeah, it draws attention, right? Like,
yeah.
And then unconsciously or like whatever, not like automatically, I would be like, whoa,
Yeah.
Like, so I really don't know. Kaya, if I'm just trying to think, if I saw someone like a guy do that, would I sexualize him like for taking off his shirt?
But men already do walk around with their shirts off. Like, have you ever seen these construction workers? Like, they're just walking around fucking shirtless. Nobody sexualizes them.
Or everyone's just like...
Or maybe it's also like a situational thing, because if you're doing construction work, you make the association, yeah, it's hot out there.
Yeah.
Right? But if it's like in a mall...
If you're in the mall, why are you taking off your shirt?
Perhaps.
Why are you walking around shirtless?
Well, perhaps, but I guess, like, if I'm coming up with devil's advocates here, like, one could make the argument, there are, like, two types of attentions. So the first type of attention is, like, because it's something that is mencalok, like, that is something that, like...
so different from, like, what's...
mendadak gitu, like, all of a sudden, if Tito took off his shirt right now, I'd be like, what the fuck? First of all, put that thing away. I do not want to see you shirtless. But it's like, no, but because, okay, there's going to be like, the first attention is, what the fuck, Tito just took off his shirt. Of course I'm going to look.
Yeah.
And let's say, like, I'm in public. I don't know who Tito is. Like, some guy just took off his shirt. I'd be like, oh, okay, this guy just took off his shirt. But I'm not. But it's different from, like, he took off his shirt yeah, but how's his belly? Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, like let's say if Tito has like a 6-pack, it's like, oh, I'd like to eat sushi off of that. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's very different. So I think like what I'm trying to say is that I guess in my head, like when I think of an ideal world, when it's like where mothers, including the mothers that do not want to use nursing covers, and they're just like, yeah, no, here my tits out. You know, like in an ideal world, it's like, okay, of course, like you can, like it's fine, like you can look, like you can be like, look as in like notice.
Because it is different. Like from what is going on.
Yeah.
Having a mother like breastfeeding the baby, it's something different. So of course there will be some people will
level of
look
attention,
at least like for a second or two.
Yeah.
Okay. But like, will they sexualize or not?
It's the difference between noticing and focusing. You can notice it.
Okay. Yeah.
You can notice it, but don't focus on it.
Yeah.
Like that's just weird.
Yeah.
If I just keep looking at the guy that is shirtless, like,
Yeah.
girl, have you never seen abs? Like,
Yeah.
come on.
But also, what do you think about like the social contract that we live in? You know, because we do live in a society where we have to be mindful of other people, right? So like, what do you think of that?
I think, okay, first of all, does the nursing cover, I obviously do not know this, does the nursing cover suffocate the baby?
No,
Okay.
because if you get a good nursing cover, okay, there's different qualities and everything like that.
Okay.
There's like a wire that goes like this.
Yeah.
And so you can see your baby clearly. They can there's
breathe.
Airway, so it's fine. Gitu.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But I think it's like, yeah, I understand like the, you know, the social contract of like the culture that we are in. I think
That's what I mean. Kaya, okay, so I have some friends. Yeah, this is a little bit of a sidetrack, but
fine.
it's still within the same realm of like
breastfeeding.
a religious society that we
okay.
live in, which is Indonesia. It is a pretty,
no, very.
it is a very religious society. Okay.
Yeah.
Comparing to my friends who are in Australia, like if in Australia you wear a crop top, you wear a bikini to the mall, literally nobody will care.
Yeah.
Because that is their culture. Emang is like that. Like
Udah kayak gitu,
open
ya.
kayak gitu. Tapi
Yeah.
if you did that here in Indonesia, it's not respectful. In my opinion, I don't think it's respectful to like
Flash your boobs.
yeah. Honestly, I'm of that. I'm a little bit traditional maybe in that sense. My view is like, yeah, we live in, I don't know, an Asian society is already more conservative than like a Western society, right?
For sure.
And then also it's like it's not a Muslim country,
Right.
but like a majority Muslim
Right.
country. And it's just not respectful.
Right.
In my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's like if you were to wear like super crop and like,
Yeah.
holes in your pants and all that stuff.
Butt cheeks hanging out.
Yeah. Which is totally fine in America. Like nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody.
Literally nobody cares. But like here, I don't know, like it's just a different
Social culture.
Yeah. So I understand like if people want women to like nurse in a nursing room, because among the culture is like that.
Like that?
I don't know. And I don't know if we should be fighting against that culture or not if we live here. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. Shouldn't we respect the culture or like, I don't know.
I just want to make it clear because I don't want anybody to like write a headline about me out there saying that Indah G wants moms to flash their titties out in public. Girl, I have zero stakes in this game. Like I don't give a shit. Like I'm on the camp always and forever.
Women,
do what you want.
Yeah. If you wanna do that in public, because I've seen actually, like I've been to them all. Yeah, here.
Okay.
And like they do it without a nursing cover or anything, and I'm like, amazing, great. And yeah, sure, she'll get some looks and everything. Tapi kayak it's not like what you said, like focus. No.
Yeah.
Gitu.
People notice. They're just like, oh.
Yeah.
No. You know what?
But I will say, if you want to change your baby, 100% do it in a bathroom. Like, don't change
diaper?
the diaper of the baby.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
No, because some people, they just change their baby like in the booth next to me, and I'm like, what?
Like
So
in
even
public?
even me, I'm like, and I'm a mom. I'm like, maybe you could do that in the bathroom.
In a bathroom. Yeah. Right.
Because that's what I'm saying. Like mutual respect. Like we live in there's a social contract.
Yes.
It's invisible, tapi kayak we are existing in a space together. So I expect you to respect me, and I will respect you back.
Yeah. No, like that's not something that I'm pushing back against.
Yeah,
either. Like
yeah.
that's something that I acknowledge, and yet at the same time, I feel like I will say, and like let me know what you think of this, obviously, because we're just like exploring ideas. But I do think what is problematic is when it's to the extent of like, let's say like you're in public right now. Let's say you're in PIM, you know, and you put
My favorite mall.
No, literally. But even though you live closer to Sanayan,
I didn't grow up. I didn't.
PIM is supreme.
Yeah. I grew up in Indah, so.
Okay, yeah.
PIM is my back.
Okay, then yeah, literally same. Yeah. No, but as I was saying, I think what is, in my opinion, problematic and it perpetuates a very harmful narrative is when it's like, let's say you're in PIM and you're breastfeeding, but you have the nursing cover on, right? And you're not really bugging nobody, but still, it's like this expectation, like, no, but you can't be doing that in public, like even with the nursing cover. And so you like kick the woman like basically out, and it's like she got to go to like one of those like little rooms. And see, here's the thing. Obviously, I'm not a mother and I'm not in the mothering community, but I have heard of that being an issue that women do run into.
Yeah.
So perhaps like, you know, just that. But another point that I want to make is that I wonder, is it the shape, the roundness of the breast, or is it the nipple?
I think it's the nipple, isn't it?
It's the nipple.
It's the nipple, yeah.
Because you know what? I remember Miley Cyrus, she got on.
Yeah. Jimmy Fallon or whatever.
Yes.
And she had like the blazer and then she covered her nipple with
the
sticker.
rainbow, with the rainbow pasty. Yes.
Yeah. And then she was like, it's not actually the breast that people like care about.
It's the nipples.
As long as you cover the nipple, they don't care about seeing a breast.
I think like another argument for like why breastfeeding in public should be okay, because it's like, well,
number
one, it's your responsibility to not be sexualizing somebody that's just fulfilling a biological function of feeding a child. And then number two, it's like,
but also question.
Yes.
Sorry. Do you think that it's also because you don't really see it, right? So like
nipple?
even for me, when my friend is breastfeeding, because she's still breastfeeding her baby, I literally look at it because I'm like, wow, that's amazing, and I wish I could do that.
But that's different because you're coming from the experience of like, I'm a mom.
But I wonder like if men juga, because they have never seen really. Kaya you've never really seen. Have you ever seen kaya proper breastfeeding and like seeing the function of it? Because even as women, like we rarely see that, or we are rarely taught that. So imagine the men, you know?
Bener juga. That was another point that I was about to say. I feel like when we perpetuate this cultural narrative that breastfeeding is something that is ought to be private, and it's not something that the public should not be able to witness, it exoticizes it, right? And then literally it's just exposure. Like we're not exposed to breastfeeding. So
it's so whoa.
Yeah. And we're just like overly glamorizing it, overly sexualizing it, overly kayak just wow banget. Padahal it's just like, no, you're just feeding a kid.
It's something that your body is supposed to do.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. Have you ever seen breastfeeding in action? Oh, okay.
Oh, you have.
Okay. Like back in Cirebon gitu.
Cirebon and some science videos.
Science videos.
Science videos.
Actually, no, yeah. I feel
good.
like science, I mean, I don't know what your curriculum was like, but I mean,
I was never taught about breastfeeding at all
wasn't.
in school.
Were you taught about breastfeeding?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Wow. Okay.
Nice school.
What school did you go to?
Sensor.
Sensor. Okay, well, I don't remember having education about.
I can 100% say I was not taught about breastfeeding. I was taught was in grade 6 about periods, and that's it. And in grade 7, we put condoms on a banana, and that's it.
Oh, that was for me grade 10. I put on we were taught about contraception, but yeah, isn't that crazy? We were taught about contraception, STDs, all that type of stuff, which are important.
But not even birth or breastfeeding.
Birth I was taught.
Okay, I was not.
Okay, birth I was taught. It's everything after birth that you're never taught, girl.
True.
That's the thing. Like, I don't know nothing about...
Again, back to the whole parenting class, I think.
Oh, yeah. It has to be... I swear, it has to be mandatory. Because, like, if I were in charge of government, I would make it mandatory solely because, like, as government, we have an obligation to protect our people, including your baby.
It's the future population, future generation. Honestly, like, even at the hospital, like, because you're at the hospital at least 2 to 3 days, or some cases 5 days, gitu. In one of those days, I'm sure someone could have briefed us on what was about to come.
And nobody did. And
the only thing they taught us how to do was shower him. That like there's a showering class.
But like at least like your mom pulled through, right? Like,
yeah, my mom like also helped me with the breastfeeding. My mba helped me with the breastfeeding. Okay, like literally. So at least we had that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wait, do you know why you can't breastfeed? Is that not something like doctors can Yeah, you can't diagnose that, right?
Cause okay, so yeah, one of my friends, she literally, they tried to pump her at the hospital.
That sounds so violent. They tried to pump her. They tried to pump milk out of her.
No, nga bisa. So like literally nothing came out, so she had to formula feed from day dot. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think also maybe it's because I was drinking. I had my period already. I got my period at 2 months when he was 2 months old.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty fast in my opinion, because all of my friends, like, they got their periods like 6 months after birth.
Okay, maybe it has something to do with that.
Yeah, and like usually when you get your period, like your supply goes down. So I think my period came early, and then I maybe was not, I stopped night pumps.
Right.
So maybe that's why the production went down.
Okay.
And then also I was really depressed.
Yeah.
I was not happy and like I was not enjoying it. And so maybe that's also why the production went down. At one point I had no appetite, and so I didn't want to eat. Even though I know that like I have to eat. Like my grandma would always tell me, like, you cannot eat for yourself anymore. You have to eat for two. But I don't know. I just didn't want to eat. So then that made the production go down probably. All those things.
And you know what? Like, speaking about having to eat for two, like, state the obvious. That's also why, like, women, like, once you're pregnant and after you give birth, like, you gain so much weight. And yet, you know, something else that I want to shine light on is how men have the fucking audacity to be like, yeah, but I'm not attracted to my wife anymore because she gained a lot of weight. I see that shit in fucking Reddit threads. I'm not even joking with you. It makes me want to punch the screen. A bitch could vomit.
Insane.
A bitch could fucking vomit.
I know my brother and my dad, like, my dad, say it as a joke, like, oh, you have to start working out now because otherwise Kyle won't be attracted to you. Like, as a joke, I know that is a joke, but I'm like, the fact that you are even saying it to me at that vulnerable time in my life. But I think that was also maybe why I, felt like the need to bounce back quick.
Right. Well, but it's also like, I mean, like, people need to stop with, it's just a joke as an excuse for what you actually do internalize. Like, just, like, at the very least, call it for what it is. Like, you actually internalize that notion of like, yes, a man is going to lose interest in you. Your husband is going to divorce you if you gain too much weight and you don't take care of yourself. Meanwhile, you just damn grew a fucking baby. You incubated that shit for 9 months. Meanwhile, these men don't do fucking nothing compared.
Yeah, no, literally their lives don't change at all. They just suddenly have a baby and that's it.
I mean, can I ask, like, I mean, I hope Kyle don't mind about this, but you know, like, I don't know Kyle. Like, I've honestly, like, only met him at your wedding. But, like, I mean, he seems nice. And I can't imagine that that'd be the type of person Kyle is to be like.
Thank God. Thank God, no.
Okay.
I mean, like, okay, I think this is what's amazing is, like, I grew up with so many boy cousins and, like, brothers and, there's more boys in my family than there are women, girls. Like, there's only me, my sister, and my cousin Rania, and that's it.
Yeah.
The rest.
Very
boys.
male dominated.
Super, super. That's why, honestly, I'm like, oh my God, I was scared to have a baby boy because I was like, all the men around me are fucking assholes and douchebags.
No, that's what we were saying. You said that he likes boys more than girls. Like, he's a boy's boy.
Yeah.
Well, you got to start the feminist education early.
No, that's why I'm like, how can I instill in him kaya to respect women? And then I think about it, Kyle. Thank God. Thank God there's Kyle.
Yeah.
So,
because I trust Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle, I've only ever met you once, but I trust you.
Because he has 2 sisters. So he grew up with all sisters. So he gets it.
Green flag.
Yeah.
Green flag.
So thank God, like, he's not the type of person who ever comments on, like, women like that, I've heard the craziest locker room talk, okay? And honestly, you can talk whatever you want. I'm not gonna, like, you can't. No.
Yeah.
Because boys are just boys. Boys are boys.
Boys are boys. Boys will be boys, but no, we're going to raise the next generation of boys to not be those types of boys.
Exactly. That's my hope.
Yeah.
No, it was scary for me to have a boy. Like,
to be a boy's mom.
I was scared because I was like, oh my God, I don't want him to be a cheater. I don't want him to be a fuckboy. I don't want him to be, like,
you know what?
Girls I feel like it's a little bit easier. Kaya, as long as she chooses the right guy.
That's so interesting.
Fine.
You know what? Hold on. This is so interesting because I've thought about one day becoming a parent. And in my case, it's adoption, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about adopting two, like if economically I can manage it, of course. But I once read this book and there was this quote that I can't remember verbatim, but it was along the lines of good people change the world by raising good kids. And I think a lot about, you know,
You want to raise a...
the opportunity for me to, if I were to raise a son, I want to raise my son to be a feminist. I want to raise my son to be a man that respects women, and that, you know, pushes back against toxic patriarchal values and like contributes to a better world for women, you know? And I've also always thought about if I'm going to have two kids, the older one gotta be the son.
Yeah.
The son's gotta be the older one.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna be the daughter.
Yeah.
Younger.
Yeah.
And I think that way, I don't know, I've had good experiences with men that have younger sisters.
Yeah.
They turn out very good men.
Kyle has two younger sisters.
See, I'm just saying.
No. I get what you're talking about, but now that I have a son, because I never thought about it.
Yeah.
Okay, I always thought of how I would raise my daughter because I grew up, you know, like super insecure and everything. So I know all the values that I would want to instill in my daughter to like become more of a confident woman and like things like that. But like I never thought about what values would I want to teach my son? How would I want to raise my son kind of thing until he came.
He popped out.
Until he's here and I'm like, oh, well. Well, now. Okay. So that's why it's kind of scary. Not scary, but like the world now is so, like you said, modern feminism and like, I don't know how many waves of feminism right now we're in, but like,
4,
yeah,
5, yeah.
But like, it's kind of, at least on social media, it's a little bit like hating on men.
Yeah. Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
And like now I don't want to, now I'm looking at like men's issues, you know,
right.
like why do they talk like that? Actually, why are they aggressive?
Suicide rates are higher amongst men.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like now I'm looking more on the men's side of things, what's happening there, and I realized like actually, mereka juga lebih kasihan actually.
In some sense, yes.
In some sense,
I agree.
because I feel like now with feminism, and again, I haven't researched this at all, so please don't
Yeah.
But like. I feel like right now for women, we are in a good place. Like we can work if we want to, you know, all that stuff. But now, it's such a man-hating world right now.
Yeah. And the fact that it's even cool.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, that's why I'm like, wow. Like, what about men's mental health? Kaya, the reason maybe they're angry is because they don't know how to...
Right.
How to communicate their feelings, how to express their feelings and everything, and that's why they resort to cheating. They become fuckboys. They become
Drug
assholes
addicts. They
because
become
they
criminals.
just don't know how to express themselves or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I think that right now that's what I hope Kian will.
Yeah.
That's what I hope to like instill in him is like
right.
good communication skills.
Right.
And like. Yeah.
Right. And so much of that is like having to address like traditional patriarchal norms and values, right? Like, for example, like the reason why men are a lot of men, like what is actually happening is they're repressing so much anger and sadness because society has always told them like, no, you're not allowed to cry. You're not allowed to talk about your feelings. Otherwise that shit's gay.
Yeah.
You know?
And like when they meet up with their guy friends, they don't talk about anything.
Right.
Like, it's like, oh yeah, I watched this happen literally last night. My brothers and my cousins, like they were all here and they were like, yeah, I just broke up with a girl. Oh, sorry, man. But that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah. Like, you know, you have to unpack that shit, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
What lessons did you learn from that relationship so that in the next relationship you will, you know, like it'll be a better experience and you won't treat the next girl badly, like things like that. You know what I mean? Like they have to unpack that shit.
Yeah, Tito, you have to unpack that shit. You and your brother need to talking about your feelings more. But I get it. No, but I get it. It's also hard because like,
No.
Tito's like, how? No, but that's the thing. boys traditionally are never taught communication skills.
Yeah.
And that has implications not just amongst themselves, but how they interact with women. Women are very communicative, and most of relationships are contingent upon how well you communicate.
Yeah, and literally the woman usually is like in the relationship is wanting to talk about the issue and everything.
Yeah.
But the man like usually shuts down and like doesn't
Throws shit.
and goes silent.
Yeah.
You know? And stonewalls. And then you know,
Yeah.
because they don't know how to express themselves.
Yeah.
So that's my main like takeaway from all this is like,
Right.
yeah, I hope that Kian will, or at least I hope I can raise him
Right.
to be a person who can communicate his feelings.
Yeah.
And not be ashamed of his feelings as well, and
Yeah.
like be able to not feel
You know.
like shameful to come to me juga.
Heavy,
You
heavy,
know?
heavy. I feel like
But also, I don't want him to be like a mommy's boy. You know?
is a mommy's boy. Like he just like latches
like,
onto you for
yeah,
life. Oh,
yeah. I mean, like
okay.
I want him to love me, obviously, but
don't.
like.
Don't depend on me all the time.
And also, is it bad of me to say that I want him to be a masculine man? Like, I want him to...
That too. There's like this kind of in tandem with this like more recent movement of like man hating is also just like the villainization and the shaming of masculinity.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
and also I saw this video kemarin kayak about periods, like how... I don't know who posted it. Oh, yeah, I think it was like the female whatever, like one of the girl boss like accounts or whatever. It was like, you know, did you know that when you're on your period, the reason why you're PMSing and everything like that is because the testosterone is higher like during your period or something like that. And I said that to my brother, right? And I love my brother. Like he said to me, yeah, so can you imagine how it feels to be like a man every day, like to be like that every day? Because we're only really angry or like, you know, I don't know, at least for me, I'm more emotional before my period and on my period. And if you're telling me that that is when my testosterone is the highest and men feel like that every day,
Right.
well, no fucking wonder they want to kill themselves more than, you know what I mean? Oh, and by the way, if as a woman, check yourself, check your hormones, because turns out I have low testosterone. Like,
girl, I have too much testosterone. I have PCOS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Explains a lot.
Literally, my doctor was like, "You will have a low libido, or whatever," and I'm like,
I'm
I don't think that's true.
managing that. The perfect just I'm managing the perfect just bad doctor.
You don't have to worry about me.
Yeah, no, you don't have to worry. Girl, that's like the one time like I had to go to a, you know how here in Indonesia like they don't go up your vagina for like those ultrasound, like those inside ultrasounds if they think you're still a virgin or like you're not married. They just think like you're not a virgin, and so they had to go up my ass. This is so explicit. Yeah, they had to go up my ass.
I've
And
never
so-
heard this before.
You've never done those?
No.
Like those in like
Never.
ultrasounds that
Up
you
my
have to
ass,
go inside.
never.
Okay, well they had to go up my ass, and so the
crap.
doctor was like, okay, this might hurt a little bit. You might feel a little bit scared, but like it's gonna be okay. Okay, and I'm just sitting there like, girl, trust me, I'm fine. I got this shit down pat. You don't gotta worry about me, bitch. I'm fine.
But thank you for your consideration.
Yeah, but thank you. She's so nice. She was so nice. She was like, "Do you want me to hold you? Do you want to hold my hand?" I'm like, "Well, I'm good. I'm good." Bro,
I will say when I was like, I don't know how old I was, because I had usus buntut.
Girl, me too. I had it
or
back
whatever.
in 5th grade.
And literally, they put it up my ass, like, and they moved me around. So the function of it, they put it in, and then they squirt water. No. Like, water flows through that nozzle thing.
Yeah.
And then they put me on a machine where they, like, to find the dead end kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was like 8 years old, and I remember thinking, this is the most painful thing that I've ever done. And I will say, that was the last time.
Yeah. In terms of support, like, I can think of like the government, your family, including your husband, Kyle, friends, and other moms. Like, is there something like these respective entities can do to be of more support to mothers? I guess mothers in general.
Honestly, okay, let's go from inward to outward, okay? So inward, like closest to you as a dad, please. Okay, there's one moment like where Kyle was like, I would rather pump. I would rather pump than, you know, have to change the baby or like feed the, like make bottles for the baby or whatever. And I was like, no, you don't. Like changing the baby takes a minute to change the baby, change diaper. But pumping is literally you sit down 20 to 30 minutes. Okay. So I think as a husband, just pick up the small tasks, like pick up the changing, pick up the washing the bottles, like, or, you know, if your wife is breastfeeding, give her water, make sure there's always water and tissue because it dehydrates you. Like it takes all the nutrients and energy from the mother to the baby, right? So like while that's happening, and sometimes if you breastfeed, it can be like 40 minutes or whatever. Yeah. Like make sure that there's water there for your wife, you know? So that's if you're the husband. If you are the friend, honestly, I wish I was a better friend to my new mom friends because I didn't understand how tough it was until becoming a mom. And then I was like, holy shit, I could have been a better friend to them.
In what ways could you have been a better friend?
Like instead of going to their house and just praising how cute their baby is, check on the mom, dude. Like I did not know. Like I thought it was like a compliment malahan to the mom just to say that the baby's cute, but actually no, ask about her birth story, give her fruits, if you want to come to her house, bring food or bring fruits or something that she wants, okay, because most likely she's not taking care of herself, or at least I wasn't taking care of myself. Again, this is all just like my personal idea. And don't just focus on the baby, like ask her, really ask her about her birth story, because women, at least from my experience and like talking to my mom friends and stuff, like we don't get to process that until we talk about it, you know, because that happens and then you immediately become a mother and you immediately have to go into that. You cannot even think about, oh yeah, I gave birth like yesterday. You can't even think about your body because you have to be a mom now. You know, there's no like transition period. It's just langsung you become a mom. Right. So asking her about the birth story like helps her to process what she just went through and like release, and maybe like, I mean, thankfully I had a great experience, a great birth experience, but maybe some friends, like some of my friends had an emergency C-section. How did they feel about that? Like ask about those things, you know, to help them process and release and like move forward. Yeah. And then, so that's friends. And then wider family and friends, just, you know, support in the sense of like help them with baby gear. Like my aunt, she lent me all of like strollers, kaca asi, like botol kaca asi gitu, like storage for ini. Because instead of putting it in the milk bags, like you can put it in the glass and then reheat. Got it. So it's like nicer. You don't have to waste so much plastic. So she lent me all of that, like car seat, stroller, all that. Like she gave it to me and I was like, wow, amazing. So that's amazing. And then maybe government level or like work level. Let's go work level first. Like, I don't know what the minimum is. I think it's like only 3 months. 3 to 4 months of maternity leave.
Itu cuti melahirkan.
I think it's around 3 to 4 months, and maybe it depends on like the company that you work for. But I also think that paternal leave is important, because like if it's just the mom, like literally Kyle worked the next day, right, and I was like just alone, you know, right. And so I'm assuming Kyle like doesn't work for like a family business, right? Like he works. No, he still works for my dad.
Oh, then wait,
but
then
like
why?
Because I think my dad is also he's like a traditional man who like that's what a man should do kind of thing. But from like in Western countries, kaya they have paternal leave as well. Like the dad and the mom can both take leave, and then they solidify at least for the first 2 to 3 months gitu, when it's really really crazy. Right. And then once the mom is out of the proper 3-month postpartum period, baru like you know, maybe the dad can go to work again after that. I don't know. So that's work side. In my opinion, I think that's what should happen. And like, and then like making work from home options like more available. And like we did it, guys. Like we really did it in 2020. Everyone was work from home. You cannot tell me that like you can't do that anymore suddenly, that it's no more you know what I mean? Yeah. It's been proven and it can work. So like just give the parents like that option if if you are the type of company that can do that. Government level, if a mother cannot breastfeed, formula is expensive. Diapers are expensive.
Subsidize it? Is it subsidized here? Actually, no. I should have run. I'll try and like put up my findings for whether or not there are countries that subsidize formula and what is it, Pampers? Like, what is it called?
Diapers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, for example, and I always look at Australia, but I don't know if this would work in Indonesia. And this is just easy for me to say because I don't know anything about politics or whatever, right? And how it actually works. But I think it would be an amazing, amazing thing if there could be, financial help for families with, lower family income. I mean, like household income and stuff. So,
right.
Because it's not cheap to have formula. Like formula is around 450 to 500 thou
Right.
per week. Okay.
Oh, you know what?
And then diapers is like almost 200 thou. So
Actually, when you really think about it, breastfeeding is a lot more expensive than formula. I'm not saying formula is not expensive. I'm just saying like the amount of food.
Well.
That that.
You have to eat well. There was like a bidan, like a nurse who helped my friend, and she said that you cannot put a price on breastfeeding because that is like an emotional. There's an emotional toll. There's like all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot say that like breastfeeding is cheaper because there's a toll, there's a tax on your body, So like, walaupun it's not tangible, but like, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing,
but it's not like formula is not cheap either.
Okay, so you're technically saying that Kyle does have the option to take paternal leave, but because there's this expectation for him to be like the breadwinner, working to provide for the family, that's not something that's like socially, like within, especially like amongst your family with your parents, that's something that he doesn't have access. He doesn't have the luxury of.
Yeah.
Oh, I never.
But also, I don't know if
that.
Companies in Indonesia generally give paternal leave.
Gak ada, belum kan?
I think I've heard of one of my friends, one of my guy friends, who became a dad and he got 2 weeks leave.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Paternal leave, like that's still
It's not a thing.
Yeah. Even in like most Western countries, like even that's not still yet like fully a thing unless like you're from a very, let's say like you're from Scandinavia, they probably got that shit down.
Australia had a parental leave, so like both
For
parents
both parents?
Yeah. And
see,
literally, some companies in Australia, they give a whole year of paid leave.
That is so major. Yeah, because when you really think about it, it's like,
because they don't have help, see.
Well, they don't have help, but it's also like if I were a company, like I would be willing to give paid parental leave, and it's literally a form of investment into the future economy. Quite literally, because it's like this money is not going towards my employees, like going to fucking Vegas, like fucking
but that's
gambling.
why I feel like government should also think that way, right? Because this is your future.
No, of course,
your future population, this is it.
No, of course. And it's like, you can't have it both. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't want to live in a capitalistic society. Capitalism and, the well-being, like the continuation of the capitalistic system is contingent upon producing more workforce, right? So it's like you want capitalism, but you're not willing to invest in like the well-being of the workforce in order for them to continuously be able to contribute to capitalism. Like, so it's, and also state the obvious, like humans are your biggest investments.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agree. Even, in a business, everyone knows, like every business, every person knows that like, the human resource, human capital, that is without them, how are you going to run? I don't know.
Right. But to the topic of like postpartum, first of all, I don't know what the difference is between postpartum and baby blues.
Okay. Yeah. So postpartum depression, and again, this book that I was saying, the postpartum book, A Mom is Born.
A Mom is Born.
It has the table of like, this is the difference between depression and baby blues, essentially, and anxiety, postpartum anxiety. So baby blues, it maybe lasts only like a couple weeks gitu, but postpartum depression will last longer than 3 months.
Okay. With you, like, was postpartum depression something that you like? Was that something you experienced?
I think so.
Okay, like undiagnosed.
Yeah. I think like personally, all of the symptoms that like what would qualify as postpartum depression, I had those symptoms. But maybe I think because thankfully I have a background in psychology and like I can like I know myself.
Yeah.
So I was able to, catch it really quick.
Right.
And do the steps like so that I can overcome those things. Like I know what it's like to be sad. So usually if I'm sad, I need to ... And so I did that, and thankfully after that, but I felt a lot better.
Okay.
And basically I realized that I need bonding time with myself. So whether that's a nap or going to the gym,
Right.
or
Socializing.
doing something for myself,
Yeah.
then I need bonding time with baby. So that means I want to be with my baby for most of the day, for the majority of the day. Because before it was I would just give my baby to sus.
Right. That's the postpartum depression symptom, right?
Yeah. And that just made my connection with the baby no connection, because he's with sus. So how was I able to create and make that bond if I didn't hold the baby, if I didn't take care of the baby, if I didn't do the diapers, if I didn't do all those things? How was I supposed to bond?
That makes sense, because distance makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. So that's why I changed my whole day. My sus usually would be at the back and washing the bottles and preparing the bath and those things, washing the clothes while I'm with my baby. Gitu. So she would do more of that kind of work rather than taking care of the baby. Whereas before that, I wasn't really holding the baby because I was scared. I was scared to do something wrong,
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
My introduction to the world of postpartum depression was because I watched 9/11. I don't know if you've seen episodes.
No.
But yeah, one of the characters, she gave birth and then she went through postpartum depression. And then she long story short, she was always so scared about doing the wrong thing, and then she was so tired, and then she fell asleep while the baby was in the bathtub. So there was a moment where the baby nearly drowned.
Oh shit.
And then so she realized what happened, and then she ran away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people with postpartum depression, that's what I said, I chat GPT'd, is it normal to want to run away? Because I felt I'm not good enough for this baby. I think someone else should
take care
Kyle's better at taking care of him than I am. I'd rather him take care of the baby than me.
Was it that you wanted to run away from the baby, or was it you wanted to run away from just I guess everything?
I think I just, you can read up my journals, but literally I wrote something along the lines of I feel so low, and I realize it's gonna be like this forever.
Well, you think it's gonna be like this
or
forever.
At that time I thought it was gonna last forever, because I will never be alone again. I will always have this child now,
chained onto you.
And even though you have 9 months of pregnancy to sort of prepare and get yourself mentally ready, nothing can really prepare you for when he's here, when your baby's earthside. So I don't know. I really don't know. It was not fun during that time.
Right.
But something that my friend kept on telling me is it will get better with time. And it's so true. You know, Taylor Swift said it. Time heals most everything.
Yeah.
So, and it's true. Only maybe after 3 months I can say. And when I stopped breastfeeding as well, I can say that I am starting to enjoy motherhood so much more compared to the first month. Honestly, just because you're a woman doesn't mean you're going to be a great mom. You have to work on that shit.
Yeah.
Just because you're a mother doesn't mean you can immediately breastfeed. You have to also work on that stuff. So can you imagine, this is me, and I see Kyle, and he's so, naturally caring and loving and good with the baby. And I was, I was actually jealous of my own husband, because I was how come you can immediately do that? I'm the woman. I'm supposed to be able to do that. You're the man. How come you are the one yang bisa naturally care,
Yeah.
So
why is it so easy for you, and with me it's hard.
Yeah. So, but then you realize it is his nature. It's not my nature to walaupun I have so many siblings, cousins, and I'm the oldest of everyone. I'm not nurturing or whatever to them, you know what I mean? They can always come to me for support or whatever, but I never served. I was the oldest one, so I was always selfish.
Right.
I was never selfless.
Right.
Whereas Kyle, he is a selfless type of person. He is an acts of service type of person. So it came more naturally to him. It has nothing to do with like gender or whatever.
It's just personality.
It was just like, nature. People's nature.
Right, yeah, but unfortunately, like, that is something that people do ascribe to gender.
Yeah.
Gender roles of just like, yo, you're the woman, you're supposed to be, nurturing,
the
and
more motherly.
Yeah. And it's like,
but it did not come naturally.
I mean, you even said, like, when we were on the, when I last called you and you were like, I think something about Kyle even considering, like, you know what, maybe, or no, you were like, no, maybe you should be the one to stay at home and take care of the kids.
Maybe I should be the one out to work because, like, clearly, like, this is so natural for you. Whereas for me, like, I feel like I have to give up a lot. I have to sacrifice a lot, as a mom.
Did Kyle say, like, would he do that? Like, if that is something that he could do without any of the judgment and the stigma attached to it? Because
he would do that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I would just have to work. But I'm lazy right now and I don't want to.
Oh, yeah. But I guess, like, if
honestly,
you were.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
once I'm ready or once I feel, like, mentally okay or whatever, maybe. Who knows? I don't know.
I've thought about it. Like, maybe one day, like, if I have a partner to raise like my child with, like, I mean, hopefully, because parenting's hard when you're single. When you're a single parent.
Yeah.
Now you have a lot more appreciation for single parents now.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. They're amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I don't know how
the hell my mom did it.
Wow.
I know.
Honestly, I think I don't want to say anything mean or bad or whatever, but, like, honestly, maybe that's why, like, she was that type of mother to you, because like she really had to, like, do everything herself, like.
Oh yeah, no, of course, like, push comes to shove, no, I get it.
School of hard knocks, like.
Yeah, for real, school of hard knocks. But what was I gonna say about Kyle and single parenthood? Oh, me, if I don't know, I've thought about maybe, like, if I have a partner that hopefully can, like, sustain the financial burdens, like, I would try. I guess I'd try 1 year of being a stay-at-home mom just to see what it's like.
Yeah.
Like, I have this fantasy of, like, putting on yoga pants and going to Pilates.
Yep.
And then getting a smoothie afterwards.
Yep. Under reserva.
Yeah.
Grow well, Erewhon smoothie.
Yes. It has to be that fucking Blue Sabrina Carpenter Erewhon smoothie.
Yeah, or the Hailey Bieber one. I like that one.
For real. Like, I would wake up in the morning, I go to Pilates, I get a smoothie, and then I have to go for my 11 a.m. nail appointment.
But, okay, I have to say, like, and I think, I mentioned it earlier, like, the Alda, she's like the McKinsey consultant, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, even she says, because she's on mat leave right now, and she is sort of, she is seeing what it's like to be a stay-at-home mom, right?
Yeah.
And even she can say that it is harder than work, which I can fully fledge, like, yes, it is harder than work. I'll tell you why. Because when you're at work, you know what to do. You've been doing that. You want to do that. You're motivated to do that.
Yeah.
You literally studied how to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you have experience on how to do that.
And you fulfill your ego by doing your work, right? And you also get rewarded for good work. As a mother, as a full-time mom, no one tells you what to do. At work, you can maybe delegate work to your teammates or partners or whatever.
Oh, to be fair, you do that with, like, the sus.
With sus and everything. But at home, I don't get any reward for any work.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
You know what?
Like,
you're not even getting paid.
Nope. And no matter what, if I do a good job or not, I'm not getting a medal. I'm not getting anything. Whereas at work, at least you're getting compensation.
Oh, you're so right.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
so, like,
you're so right.
And personally, as a person who used to work and everything, and I never became a mom before, obviously, this is my first time.
Right.
Again, nobody tells you what to do, so you have to figure it out all yourself.
Yeah.
Or, like, that's why Google and ChatGPT is your best friend. And you're literally trying to keep a human alive. Okay, so worst case scenario at home is your child could die.
Yeah.
Whereas worst case scenario at work, you get fired. Whoop-de-doo. Like, so what?
Get another job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so that's why I feel like actually being a mom or like a parent or a full-time parent or whatever, it's harder because you have to sacrifice more because you're not satisfying your ego. You have to, like, for example, kemarin I was on my period, and usually I would be able to just stay home and like watch Netflix and do nothing, and eat whatever I want. But with Kian, kaya I have to get up and like, oh my gosh, I have to give up so much.
What's Kyle had to give up? What's your husband had to give up since you guys had kids?
Yeah. Nothing.
Not
much.
Honestly,
my body has changed. You know, like after stopping breastfeeding, holy crap, my titties are down to my belly button. like I have stretch marks, you know, like my body is different. He's changed. He hasn't changed.
Girls,
he's gotten fitter. He's gotten fitter. Throughout the pregnancy, he was paddling. He's fitter. I'm fatter.
Girls. Any of y'all girls, y'all about to become mothers or y'all thinking about getting pregnant, take those nudes before. Take those nudes. Take those nudes. Don't share them with nobody.
Yeah.
Unless it's
just keep it to yourself.
Oh yeah, just keep it to yourself.
You will never, ever, ever look the same way unless you get a mommy makeover or whatever.
Yeah,
which is a thing. And
no,
also,
it's
did you
100%
know
thing.
here?
Yeah.
Did you know that here they do C-section plus sekalian
yeah. My friend had that.
Tummy tuck langsung.
My friend had
It's
that.
like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And you know what? I'm wondering if that's something that within the mother community, that's like something that is like looked down upon. If you got a mommy makeover, or if it's just like
I don't honestly, I used to be the type of person who used to judge people for like getting plastic surgery or whatever
because it's
I
not
used
natural.
and I used to be bullied a lot, and like people used to pressure me a lot to get my nose done or whatever. So I would always like hit back about that. That's why I'm like, no surgery. But now, as mom, you do what you want to do. Why? These are all the way down here.
Yeah.
Where they used to be up here. Okay? And that is so normal too, like to feel resentment, jealousy, or whatever towards your husband because they have independence. They have full autonomy of their body. Again, in the beginning, when you're breastfeeding, your body doesn't belong to you. It belongs to your baby.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But like your husband literally can go
do fuck all.
do whatever they want to do. And I was jealous of that. I was like, I have to sit here and pump for 30 minutes every 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's crazy. As crazy as like all the things that I was saying, like about postpartum depression or like, you know, breastfeeding and like the struggles and all that, I still want to have another one.
You still have, you're not
I want to have 2 more.
But is you hoping for a girl?
Low key. I do want to I don't know. I think every girl kind of wants a girl a little bit, no?
Ooh, you know what?
You don't.
Maybe
But like,
not.
I feel like you'd be a great girl mom. Why? Because you can teach her all the things. You know what I mean?
True. Like, I'm
Like,
not
at least
against.
you know what it's like to be a woman. So then you can like, whereas I don't know what it's like to be a man. So I don't really know.
That is true,
for
and that
Kian.
and that's actually something that my mom says. Like, I'm actually like in a way quite lucky that because I have a single parent, right? But she's a single mom, and I'm a woman. Yeah. Versus like if I were if I had a single dad.
Right.
Yeah. That's actually something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to make
Like-
an episode about trying to find somebody who has that experience of being the daughter to a single dad and what that dynamic was like growing up. Because at least with me, like, I mean, I can say whatever shit I want about my mom, but I mean, like, you know, when it comes down to the sensitive things, especially like teaching about
She
the
knows.
period,
She knows how to
bodily autonomy,
Yeah.
she knows,
Yeah.
And then she also says this thing about I don't know if I agree with her on this one, but my mom always says you would much rather have, God forbid, a parent has to go. You'd rather be with a single mom than a single dad.
Why?
Because she says that a mom knows how to do both the job of a mother and a father, but a father can't not do the job of a mother. That's what she says.
I have heard some of my friends say that like, really, a child needs a mother. That's what my friends, a couple of my friends have said that.
You know what? Another thing that moms can do that dads can't do? Touch you. Do you get it?
Huh?
Your mom can touch you. Your dad can't touch you. If you, let's say you're a woman, you're a girl.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, you were a little baby girl.
Yeah.
There are boundaries your dad has to have with you.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe he can't be so freely to wash your down there.
Right.
Your mom can do whatever. That's why
Yeah.
I like this one video. I came across it on TikTok. There's this one girl, and it was just a reminder for all of you young people. And I'm gonna say it again here. Gak ada orang yang boleh sentuh tubuhnya kamu kecuali ibunya kamu. Like nobody is allowed to touch your body except your mom. Your mom can touch you. Your mom can see you naked.
Yep.
Touch you naked. Everything. Your mom can do it. Your dad, not necessarily. Even son with dad, not necessarily.
Yeah, you know what's so weird and funny? Like, yeah, I have a husband, but I didn't know anything about penises. You know, like with Kian, I didn't want to touch it in the beginning because I was like, I don't know if I'm hurting him. Gitu.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah.
I had to ask Kyle, like, if I do it like this, is it okay? Gitu, because I didn't
Right.
know, and they don't come out circumcised.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, he's gonna get circumcised next week, but
fun.
yeah, right now, like, and I've never sort of like handled a uncircumcised
Right.
penis,
Right.
gitu, so I had to ask a lot of questions because I really didn't know
Right.
like how the function of the ball. Like, does it hurt if I wipe it like this? If I, you know, like I don't know.
We're not taught about your system down there.
No.
No.
But
But
there you go.
we got to wrap it up here because we got like less than 10 minutes
Oh my
before these
gosh.
cameras like shut down. But this has been fucking amazing.
Love.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. This is Kizzy. All of her information is down below. And yeah, like, comment, fucking subscribe. All of you cunts. There's a baby over there.